Good morning, you guys, and welcome to your maths lesson today. I just want to say I'm really proud of everybody yesterday who gave the adding and subtracting with mixed numbers a go. So well done for those who are really working through their maths and making sure that they're following those steps to success. Today, our learning objective is going to be to continue to add and subtract mixed numbers, and there's only one more step I'm going to be adding into it. So it's very, very easy, and I think you're going to whiz through this today. But before we get started, we're going to look at our starter. So if you can pause the video now and have a go at answering those 5 quick questions, see how much you remember from the previous concepts we've taught you in year 5. So good luck. Great, so let's have a mark and see how we did. So first of all, I have got my decimal number multiplied by 100. Okay, so I'm going to write that number down. Remember, this is when we don't need to be lazy. It's making sure that we're not lazy and that we're making sure we're using all those skills that we have taught you to answer these questions. I'm multiplying it by 100, so I'm shifting my number to the left. So I'm going to move my number twice now to the left because there are 2 zeros. And so if I shift all those digits up twice, remember my decimal never changes. All right, my answer is going to be 534. If you put 534.0, that is also correct, okay? Or if you just wrote 534. So that is the answer for number 1. Number 2, I've got a decimal number, subtract the decimal number. So again, making sure that I line up that decimal. That was a big thing we worked on last term. So I've got my number and I make sure that I line up my decimal point, that it's one under each other. It's underneath each other. And then I am going to subtract. Now, because there is a gap here, I need to fill it with a placeholder, and that's why it's very important that I'm lining up these digits correctly. Because now 0 minus 2 I cannot do, so I'll need to go and borrow, regroup. 10 minus 2 is 8. 2 minus 9 I cannot do, so I need to borrow and regroup. 12 minus 9 is 3, making sure I bring down that decimal so that it all lines up. 4 minus 3 is 1, and 6 minus 2 is 4. So my answer is 41.38. Hopefully you got that one correct. And if you did, well done. Right, 12 times 9. Okay, 12 times 9 is 108. Knowing your multiplication times tables is just something you have to learn. Remember, if you are struggling with your times tables, to make sure you're practicing these after your maths lesson and making sure you're doing that every single day. Okay, it's so important to know your times tables. Right, I've got another decimal multiplied by 7 this time. So again, set up my work, making sure we're copying down the digits correctly as well. 56 and multiply by 7. Right, so I'm going to start. 7 times 6 is going to be 42. Carry the 4. 7 times 5 is 35. 35 plus 4 is 39. Carry the 3. And then 7 times 4 is 28. 28 plus 3 is 31. Now there are 2 digits after my decimal. So I'm going to count 2 digits and put my decimal in my answer, making sure we don't forget that decimal. Okay, so hopefully you got that one correct as well. Right, the next one is our squared numbers. So we're going to say 3 squared. We can work that out. 3 times 3 is 9. Then I need to plus something squared. So I need to multiply this number twice to give me 13. So if I say, and I do the inverse here, and I say 13 minus 9 will give me 4. But now I can't put the number 4 here. So what number can I put here that when I multiply it by itself, it's going to be give me 2. So something times something, and these 2 numbers must be the same, will give me 4. So what number can you think of that will multiply by itself will give me 4? Hopefully you said 2. So 2 squared equals 13. So hopefully you did really well with your starter today. We're going to swiftly move on to our work for today. And again, we're going to be looking at this very important question. It came up yesterday. It's going to come up in the future. It is very important that you understand and remember this. So what must I always have when I'm adding and subtracting fractions? In any form of fractions, I need to have what at the bottom of my number, of my fraction. And hopefully you would have told me that you need to have the same denominators. Now over here, you can notice that these are not the same denominators like we had yesterday. Yesterday was nice and easy because our denominators were the same. So I could simply work out my improper fraction from my mixed number and then add and subtract the top numbers. Whereas now my bottom numbers are not the same. So what can you do to make it the same? And how did we work that out before? We made equivalent fractions, okay? So that is one little tiny step that we're going to be doing extra this today. And it is so simple. You're going to whiz through this. Again, I cannot encourage you enough to make sure that you're practicing these sums with me as I go. So do make sure you have a piece of paper and a pencil ready to do your working out. And if not, pause the video now, go and get it, make sure you're organized, and then we can crack on. Right, so I'm going to do the first one with you, and then you are going to see if we can do the next one together, and then the last one on your own. So first of all, the same method as yesterday. There's only going to be one slight change. It's a bit of an addition of a step. So we first going to have a look here. We have two fractions, and now our step number one has to be converting our mixed number into an improper. Some of you yesterday did not do that. You just added or subtracted the numerators because you could work that out quite easily because they had like denominators. You cannot do that today. You have to convert it into an improper fraction. There is no two ways about it. You have to convert it because my denominators are different now. So step number one is very important. You need to convert this into a mixed number. So to convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. So first of all, I say 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 3 is 13, leaving the bottom number the same. And I bring down this fraction because it's not a mixed number. Right. Now that I have my two fractions, I need to create a common denominator, the same denominator. So I'm going to make an equivalent fraction. So that's the exact method we've been doing loads and loads of times. So it's nothing new to learn. It's just another step we have to remember for today. So I look at the biggest number first, which is 10, and I say, can 5 go into 10? Yes, it can. So I'm going to leave this as tenths, and I'm going to create this tenths. And now I need to make an equivalent fraction with 13 fifths. So I'm going to say, what did I do to the 5 to get 10? I times it by 2. So I'm going to write times by 2. So I'm going to say 13 times 2 is 26. And bring my plus sign. And now I simply can add my top numbers. And I'm going to have 33 over 10. Okay. So 33 tenths is my answer. And remember, I leave it like that. I do not change it into another mixed number. I leave it like that. Okay. So the only difference today is that we just have to make an equivalent fraction, which you all know how to do. And I'm very confident that that is very simple and you have understood it. So let's do this one together now. So first of all, I've got two fractions here and I've got a mixed number and I've got a fraction. So can you now change your mixed number into an improper fraction? So write this on your piece of paper, have a go at creating an improper fraction. I'll give you a few seconds. If you need more, please pause the video. Let's see if you can have a go at changing that mixed number into an improper fraction for me. Right, so you would have said 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. Leave the bottom number the same, which is 6. Right, then I say, and I bring down my 3/4. Right, now I look at the bigger number, which is 6. Can 4 go into 6 equally? No, it can't. So again, now we're going to make equivalent fractions. So I think about all the multiples of 4, and I think about all the multiples of 6. I'm going to say 4, 8, 12, and I'm going to say 6, 12, 18. My numbers are very squiggly today. Right, what number appears in both of them? It is 12. Okay, so I'm going to make an equivalent fraction with my bottom number as 12ths. Right, Now, what I do to 6 to get 12? I multiplied it by 2. So remember, whatever I do to the one number, I need to do to the other number. So I'm going to multiply 22 by 2, which is 44. And I said 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to say 3 times 3 is 9. And now I can easily subtract those numbers. If you don't know that in your head, then you can do your little working out of a subtraction on the side of your piece of paper. Please don't try and do it in your head if you don't know. Rather do the long way, get the working out, and get the answer. 4 minus 9 we cannot do, so we're going to borrow and regroup. 14 minus 9 is 5, and 3 minus nothing is 3. So my answer is going to be 35, and I leave the bottom number the same, 12ths. Right, see if you can now do this one on your own. Again, remember these are two mixed numbers. So again, change them into improper fractions, both of them. So use the method times, then add, leave the bottom number the same. Then the one more step that we're adding in today is we're just creating an equivalent fraction, and then we can add or subtract the top numbers. And in this case, we're going to subtract them. So pause the video now and have a go. Super. So you would have first, step 1 is going to be convert them into improper fractions. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. Keep the bottom number the same. Bring down my sign, which is my subtraction sign. And I go 12 times 1 is 12, plus 5 is 17 twelfths. Right, so now I've converted those both into improper fractions. Step 1 is done. Step 2 is I need to have the same denominators. My bottom number needs to be the same in order for me to subtract these numbers, and they are not. So I now need to make them the same. So I first look at the biggest number, which is 12. Can 4 go into 12? Yes, it can. So I'm going to put 12 at the bottom for both of them. Right, 4. What did I do to 4 to get 12? I times it by 3. So I'm going to say 11 times 3 is 33. Bring down my sign. 12, did I do anything to 12 to get 12? Nope, I just times it by 1 really. So I'm going to say 17 times 1, which is 17. And now I can subtract them because I have like denominators. Right, if we don't know how to do it in our head, we can do a little bit of a working out on the side here. I can tell you right now, I don't know how to do this in my head, so I'm going to do the long way and make sure I get my answer. Right, 3 minus 7 I cannot do, so I'm going to say 13 minus 7 is 6. 2 minus 1 is 1, and so I'm going to say 16 here. Leave the bottom number the same, and I simply leave it as an improper fraction. Okay, and there is my answer. Right, if we need some extra practice, here are 2 quick sums. Let's make this one maybe an addition sum. Otherwise, just 2 boring minuses. So have a go at doing these now. See if you can remember. Remember, step 1 is going to be changing it into an improper fraction. Step 2 is going to then be creating our equivalent fraction to make sure we have the same denominators, and then we add or subtract the top numbers. So have a go at that. If you're feeling quite confident, you can then fast forward and you can then see what the steps of success are for today. Right, so the first one, 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 3 is 13 fifths. Okay, remember I've got to change my mixed number into an improper fraction, and I leave this one bottom. Right, now I look at the biggest number because my denominators are different. And so my biggest number is 15, and I say, right, I'm just going to quickly move this down because I'm running out of space. And let's just move that down. Right, so this is going to be 15. I'm going to make these 15ths. Right, what I did to 15 to 15, I did nothing. So I'm going to keep the 7 the same. What I did to 5 to get 15, well, I multiplied it by 3. So I'm going to multiply 13 by 3, and 13 times 3 is going to be 39, right? And then I'm going to say 39 minus 7 is 32. Leave the bottom number the same. Hopefully you got that one. Right, again, same method. Got to change my mixed numbers into improper fractions. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17 thirds. Plus 2 times 9 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22 ninths. Right, to look at the biggest number. Because my denominators are not the same, I need to make equivalent fractions. So my biggest number is 9. I say 3 can go into 9 equally, so I'm going to make my bottom number 9ths. Right, what did I do to 9 to get 9? I did nothing. I just times it by 1. So I leave the top number the same. What did I do to 3 to get 9? I multiplied it by 3. So now I say 17 multiplied by 3. And again, if you do not know that in your head, because we have not learned 17 times tables, then you can do a quick working out on the side. So 3 times 7 is 21, carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. And so I'm going to have 51. And now I can simply add my top numbers because my bottom numbers are the same. So this is going to be 73/9. Hopefully you got that correct. Right, so let's just have a look very quickly at our steps to success today. So first of all, I'm just going to make a little bit more space here for me because I know I'm going to need a bit more space to do my working out. Just move that down. So our first step is going to be to change to an improper fraction. This is a very important step. I need to change all my mixed numbers to improper fractions. So I'm going to say 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 3 is 13. So I'm going to write 13 fifths. And this I do not need to change because it's already as a fraction. Not a mixed number. Okay. Right. Now, my next one is to make an equivalent fraction so I have the same denominator. Remember, look at the biggest number, which is 10. Can 5 go into 10? Yes, it can. So I'm going to write 10 as my bottom number. And then I'm going to make my equivalent fraction. 5 times 2 is 10. So 13 times 2 is 26. And I leave the 7 the same. Okay, and now I can add and subtract my numerators, my top numbers, because I don't need to change them. My bottom numbers are the same now. So 26 plus 7 is 33. And I leave the bottom number the same. Very important, okay? Do not add or subtract the bottom numbers. And those are your steps to success for today, okay? Remember, also don't simplify or convert this back into a mixed number. So just leave it as it is as an improper fraction because you will get the mark for that. And I don't want you to make a careless error trying to convert it into a mixed number and you get it wrong. So this is your steps to success for today, which is very important. I will be putting this up in your file so that you can have access to it. So please make use of it so that you can follow this to make sure that you are understanding this concept. Again, I cannot stress this enough. You have to do step number 1. You have to change your mixed number into an improper fraction. Today, you have to do that in order to get your bottom numbers to become an equivalent fraction so that you can work it out and be able to add and subtract your top numbers, okay? So you cannot go 3 plus 7 is 10 and 5 plus 10 is 15, okay? Because your bottom numbers are not the same now. You cannot do that. So please follow these steps to success to help you. And as I said, I will add that in your files in maths. All right, so you can log on to Teams now. There are 10 questions for you. 7 of them are just pure fluency, which is what we've been doing. And then there's a bit of word sums to see if you can apply your understanding. So see if you can get at least 7 out of 10 today to make sure that you're just understanding the method. Otherwise, have a wonderful day and I will see you back here later.